Ouachita One Table. Ouachita One Table podcast is a deeper discussion of issues facing our business communities. Over this series, we'll invite community leaders and businesses, the arts, nonprofits, culture, and government as we discuss the issues that strike at the heart of the Chamber's mission for the greater good of our parish. Topics such as workforce development, education, quality of life, economic development, and more. Ouachita One Table. This podcast is a partnership project of the Monroe and West Monroe, West Ouachita Chambers of Commerce and was produced by Godly Works Productions in the Louisiana Catalyst Podcast Studios at the Benoit Community Center. Now, here are your hosts, Roy Heatherly and Christopher Kelly.
Guys, this is Ouachita One Table, a deeper discussion of issues facing the business community. I'm Christopher Kelly with the West Monroe, West Ouachita Chamber, joined with my friend
Roy Heatherly with the Monroe Chamber.
He almost did it. He almost did it. I'm going to get it on take one day. But you know what? We have a fantastic guest, our friend at the Arts Council, who is always there for us at events, who's a constant supporter of our community. And you know, when we talk about quality of life, the arts build quality of life. So Barry Stevens with the Northeast Louisiana Arts Council.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
And you are our first guest.
You can only go down for hill from there.
You know, you are the first guest speaker I had to the board to talk about, my board, to talk about quality of life, and now you're the first guest on Ouachita One Table.
So what does that tell us?
How important the arts are to our community.
You know, this podcast came out of a conversation, literally. We were sitting at my board table, and I said, I can't wait to start this podcast. And Roy said, well, I'm doing one too. And I was like, we're doing one together. And so, you know, issues of workforce, issues of education, all of that stuff is critical. But when we sell our community, when we sell economic development, we're really selling why we're unique in the arts and culture that here in Northeast Louisiana. Man, it's a pivotal. I don't know how many times I say Barry Stevens with the Arts Council would be a great partner for you. You know, it happens all the time. So tell us, Barry, about the Arts Council, its mission. Start us with an introduction.
Okay. The Arts Council, Northeast Louisiana Arts Council, formed officially in 1979. So we are 40 some odd years old now, I think.
I think we decided early, no more math on years.
Okay. We are a private 501c3. We're one of 9 regional arts councils in the state of Louisiana. And our mission is to nurture a vibrant regional arts culture in Northeast Louisiana through support, promotion, and education.
But let's pause though. You said 501c3. I think there's a misconception though that the bus of government money stops at your door.
No, 501c3 really is a tax status,
right?
And it allows people to donate to us and have a tax advantage. Although that has shifted through the years, as we all know. But we are a business. And we are in the business of supporting the arts and promoting the arts and educating people about the arts. With support, we support artists and other nonprofit arts organizations. We promote them, their activities, their events, and then with education, we're interested in educating the public about the arts. But we're also very, very interested in arts in education. Arts education, arts in education.
Well, Barry, for the novice out there, define the arts. Define what that means.
I told you I don't answer hard questions, but the arts are all around us. And, you know, the table that we're sitting in front of, someone had to design that.
Sure.
And so that's an artistic endeavor. You look out in a museum, you see paintings. Obviously, that's art. Sculpture, that's art. But art is all around us. It engulfs us. And really, we don't realize that.
I guess that's why I asked the question.
But let's pause for a second. And for our size community, we have a symphony, we have a performing arts space like Strauss Theater, which is doing main stage, big production. Everybody's smiling because I'm on the board of Strauss. And I talk about it constantly.
That's a plug.
Shameless plug.
Shameless.
But we have access to VAPA, which has some of the most talented students that I could ever imagine. I have no musical ability at all. And some of the things that they're doing are innovative. We have a region that has steeped in history, but we have museums like the Shepis in Columbia that are doing innovative things.
Another shameless plug.
We have the Star Home Place. We have all of these places that you represent. So it must be daunting, though. Region 8 is huge, right?
It's 11 parishes.
So geographically diverse, ethnically diverse,
Yes.
socioeconomically diverse,
Yes.
and the drivers of the institutions that are in those different parishes that you would think as bastions of the arts, very diverse. One of the things that I learned from you is the libraries play a central role in bringing the arts to the community. So talk a little bit about that relationship.
That's true. In some of the parishes we serve, there's really not a arts organization per se. So to bridge that gap, we will work and do work with libraries there. We have a kind of a committee off the board called RUPAR, Rural Underserved Presenters and Representatives, RUPAR. No, RUPAR.
Close enough.
That's right. Anyway, close enough. And in that group are several libraries that will work with us if we are bringing entertainment in some type of art tour. Then because there's not an arts organization in that locality, then we work with the library.
So go ahead.
No, I was going to say, another question. So when you came, so we went to the Strauss Theater, and we had our board meeting there because we wanted to expose them to the play. We wanted them the atmosphere, and you came and spoke, and you did a very good job, and we appreciate that. It's a business community. You brought a lot of stats with you about the impact that the arts have on our communities from a business perspective. Can you share some of those with us?
Sure. I happen to bring some of that with me. Arts is big business, and the Americans for the Arts, which is a national organization, they do a survey about every 5 years, and I'll mention that in a second. But they gather all that data and spit it back out to everybody. But on a national level, and these numbers were back from about this time last year, nationally, the arts and culture sector of the economy was 4.5% of the nation's GDP.
Wow.
5.1 million jobs. In the state of Louisiana alone, it was 2.5% of the state's GDP, or 52,750 jobs, give or take. I don't have specific numbers for Northeast Louisiana or Ouachita Parish, but I will tell you this. Americans for the Arts is rolling out what they call the Arts and Economic Prosperity 6, which means it's the 6th time they've done this. They do it about every 5 years. And we will be partnering with the city of Monroe to do that here in our region, which we've never done before. So once that is accomplished and all that data is collected, we'll have a whole lot better handle on what is actually going on in Ouachita Parish in Region 8, and I'm excited about it.
So speaking of Ouachita, this is Ouachita One Table, a partnership of the West Monroe, West Ouachita Chamber of Commerce and the Monroe Chamber of Commerce, and we're talking with Barry Stevens, President and CEO of the Northeast Louisiana Arts Council. So Barry, let's go a little bit further about what the Arts Council does in supporting this region. You know, we talk about fostering the next generation of creatives. We've talked about education. Let's dig deeper into what does that mean in your perspective? What's the Arts Council role in fostering education? And specifically, I want you to talk about those boxes that you did.
Our art boxes.
And the only reason I know is they took over my office.
Yes, we did. And we thank you for that.
It's my greatest pleasure in life.
Our board is so interested in encouraging youth in art. And, you know, when I said earlier about arts education and arts in education, we're not trying to make artists out of kids, because we kind of believe kids are born artists and then they grow out of it. Some of them never do, thank goodness, but the rest of us do. But we want to make sure that kids have an opportunity and have access to the arts. A few years ago, we did an informal survey with the 10 rural parishes that we serve. We carved Ouachita Parish out, and in that survey, we found there were roughly 20,000 kids in the public schools in those 10 parishes. We found 49% of them had no access to any type of arts education.
And we're talking music, we're talking
Everything.
painting, all of it.
Anything.
49%.
49%.
Wow.
And that has just stuck with me ever since. So last year, late 2020, I subscribe to a lot of email stuff, and I get stuff from all over the country. And the Texas Cultural Trust, I'm on their list, got an email from them. They were talking about their art boxes. So we thought in the office, that sounds like something we might could do. We reached out to them and said, hey, can we steal your idea? And they said, please do. And so we did. We called it Start With Art. We were able to get a grant from the Monroe Junior League, and we took those dollars and we distributed right at 575 Start With Art kits to 2 elementary schools, grades K through 5th. Our plan is to do that again. Our goal is to do it in every parish in Region 8. That's a huge task.
So let's talk about the box, what was in it, and the education that went with it.
There were 14 different items. You would ask me.
And what color were the crayons?
There was a lot of stuff.
So it was a lot of multi-purpose art equipment.
That's true.
Glue, and the point I'm trying to make is many of these kids don't have paper. You're literally starting with, we're giving them the crayons and the paper and the things to facilitate the creative process.
That's true. And
that was an awkwardly hard question, and I didn't mean it to be.
Unfortunately, but fortunately, we were able to get into 2 schools, Title I schools. These schools were 98, 99% underprivileged, disadvantaged.
Right.
And that was our target. So we took those kits. The excitement on those kids' faces was phenomenal. They'll keep those kits in the school, in their classroom through the end of this school year, then they'll get to take them home. We have some local artists that are working on YouTube videos, short videos, to take the same exact contents of a kit and make art from that. So those kids can see someone here locally that they might even know, or at least looks like them, and see what they can do with those contents. And
It's such a beautiful project.
Yeah, this is great. Barry, I'm Roy. We need to take a quick identification. I'm Roy Heatherly with the Monroe Chamber of Commerce, and you're listening to Ouachita One Table. I'm hosting this with my dear good friend Christopher Kelly with the West Monroe West Ouachita Chamber, and we're talking to Barry Stevens, who is President and CEO of the Northeast Louisiana Arts Council. And Barry, from an economic development perspective, what you're just talking about right now, if you talk to Dr. Barry at ULM, he plays this really cool video from Michael Jr., and it talks about knowing your why, and their why is reaching out into the region. And this is, our success is regional. We have to have the region. And so
That's right.
what you're doing there is so critical. And the lives that you're changing. I mean, I get kind of goosebumps. I'm serious, because you're exposing these young people to something that they've never had the opportunity to do, and you're elevating their lives. And so that is such a cool thing that you do.
Well, it excited us. It continues to excite us. And you used a word just then, elevate. And that's part of our mission too, is to elevate the arts in our region and people's perception of the arts from all levels, all socioeconomic levels. Everyone can benefit from the arts.
Yeah.
So, but with those kids, I think you're reopening the possibility,
Yes.
right? You're reopening the possibility for that 51% or that 49%, I can't remember the statistic, that didn't have any exposure. One day they will be touched by this project.
That's the goal. That is the goal.
And I think it's equally more important that you have this diversity of people involved. So, that person looks like me. I'm in a career path that I can identify with. You said children get turned off to the arts. That's so sad, because I can't imagine not being able to draw or play or whatever.
Well, again, we all have some creative abilities, some better than others, but if you can just generate that spark in them, even if they don't become an artist, even if they're not another Renoir or Picasso, it doesn't matter. They'll carry that innate ability that they've nurtured forward with them into adulthood, and that makes us all better people.
Because they appreciate what talent looks like.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. I got to see Aladdin a couple weeks ago, and it was magnificent. And I'm always blown away by the talent of our region. But what I found out was, after the show, that the Sultan, the person that played the Sultan, was given the part 2 days prior, because the original Sultan got sick. So they handed her and another person the part 2 days, and they learned it all, and they went out there and knocked a home run with the performance. I mean, it was amazing.
Another reason to celebrate
Yeah.
what's special about
But the
Kids are amazing.
The joy on their faces when they were done with that and they came out for the curtain call, the joy that was on their faces and the pride of the audience. And Chris, you hit it, the diversity of the audience. The audience was totally diverse. Those kids came from so many different backgrounds, but they were one in that performance, and it was magnificent. Oh, I stood and clapped and clapped and clapped. I was so proud of those kids.
Well, but so many don't get to celebrate that moment on stage. We did a ribbon cutting celebrating together. Strauss, shameless plug yet again, it's 90th anniversary, right?
Yeah.
And I got to stand there and say, for me, theater was an important chapter in my life, because I was a shy kid that didn't want to talk, and theater let me. I was a
Imagine that.
Yeah. Think way back and use your deepest imagination. I didn't want to talk. I was afraid of stumbling, but in reality, people are very kind. They're open because they've been in front of a microphone. So standing at a podium, for me, every single time I hear Irma Vetrano in my ear, my speech teacher, pushing on my stomach, telling me how to enunciate, and don't be afraid.
Yeah.
It's okay. Stumble, and then we'll learn. And so for those kids that are out there like me, that critical moment of theater, of band, of bringing the arts kits to them, man, that's awesome. But you couldn't do that without members and community support. So I want to dispel this rumor that there's not a government truck of money coming at you.
There is not. Now, we do partner with the state of Louisiana Division of the Arts, and administer one of their grant programs, which is now called the Louisiana Partnership, Louisiana Project Grants, LPG. And so we're able to distribute those tax dollars to artists and arts organizations.
So you're a conduit for
We're
those
a conduit.
grants.
Yeah. We sub-grant.
Right. But if you want to support the arts in our community,
We will
shamelessly
let
plug
you.
yourself.
We will let you. We have memberships. You can go online to our website.
And what is that website, Barry?
www.nelaarts.org. That's NELAARTS.org. And you can join right there. We do work with businesses to sponsor the few events that we put on, our fundraising events, and we welcome those. The business community is good to the arts. I'm always looking for support. So you can get involved with us in many ways, but we will take your money any day.
So, I'm proudly a member of the Arts Council. And Roy is a proud member of the Arts Council because we believe in the mission of what you're doing. We believe in the lives that you're changing. And quite frankly, you have a lean staff and you get an enormous amount of impact out of that.
We do. I've got her title is Community Development Coordinator, and that doesn't touch half of what she does. She's phenomenal.
Barry blows me away because each step you have found one of the most engaging and creative people that also has a business mind to help you.
Well, it is interesting.
It's magical.
I've been in this role for 5.5 years now. I'm on my 4th CDC. So I'm asking myself, is it me or is it them?
No, but I would play it back at you. Look at each time you've grown that person, engaged them, and they've moved on. You've given them opportunity no one else would have. So that's pretty extraordinary. Yeah. Yet another chapter of that educational component of the Arts Council. We celebrate you.
Absolutely.
So get involved in the Arts Council. This has been Ouachita One Table, a community partnership podcast between the West Monroe, West Ouachita Chamber of Commerce and
the Monroe Chamber of Commerce.
I'm Christopher Kelly.
I'm Roy Heatherly, and you're
Barry Stevens.
And who you're with?
Northeast Louisiana Arts Council.
And more information on the Arts Council online at NELAarts.org, or you could call Barry personally at
397-6754.
There you go.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you will join us again on our next podcast.
You've been listening to Ouachita One Table with Christopher Kelly and Roy Heatherly. This podcast is a partnership project of the Monroe and West Monroe West Ouachita Chambers of Commerce and was produced by Godly Works Production in the Louisiana Catalyst Podcast Studios at the Benoit Community Center.